Welcome to Table Talk. Table Talk. Table Talk. Table Talk.
And nobody feet come stop. I come from the streets pure hunger. For them we no be fire ton. I feel pray I fit to stand on the fire. Make I never lose my substance. Favor shower me in abundance. For them we no be fire ton.
This is one of a two-part series with my guest, ItsENJ, with DJ Willy Wonka on Table Talk Show, and me, your host, Nikki G, the voice. Welcome to Table Talk. I'm now in the room with ENJ.
Yes.
How is everyone doing today?
Doing good.
Doing well. Thanks
I'm doing good also.
I'm sorry?
I said I'm doing also well. Can't complain.
Very good. And we have Willy Wonka in the building. This is a musical group. They do Afrofusion, Afro-pop, and is it alternative or is it ALT?
Alte.
Nigerian
Alte.
Alte. So
Alte,
Alte Cruise is like this subgenre under Afro-beats right now, coming out of Nigeria and the Nigerian diaspora, where like you hear it's like a mixture of the general Afrobeat sound with like some R&B, some rap, some hip hop, things like that, like making it more, so some dance hall as well.
Okay.
So it's like more so a sound that people that are outside of Nigeria, like London or like Canada or even the US, but have like Nigerian influence are making.
Okay. Oh,
No. So yeah, I was like the song. I don't know if you've heard On God.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah. So our most recent song On God, like I don't know if you noticed towards like Chimdi's part, it switches to reggae influence. Understand? Like not completely, but like I feel like when I hear his part, I think about like Shaggy.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You get what I mean? So
Yeah.
That's where the fusion comes in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the influence that was, and I guess indoctrinated into us for where we were raised in Uptown Bronx, New York, around, Jamaican. So that's like the fusion aspect is like we're just kind of speaking to like all the different, cultures that have like influenced us,
Okay. That's good. I have to, sometimes you say when you watch a movie or you listen to music or anything that you do, you always miss something. So, even though you might be doing something along the line, so you might probably miss that, but it's good that you pointed out to me so I could go back again and I could say, oh, okay, that's what he was talking about, All right, so give us a little synopsis. I think because of the airwaves, it's kind of cutting off when everybody goes together. So you could cue each other however you'd like to say, okay, you go first or whatever the case may be, right? But I know it's so exciting, so everybody wants to jump in at the same time.
Give his hands.
But give me a little synopsis. Okay, let me see. Okay, so Otito, you give me a little synopsis of how you guys grew up and stuff like that, and then I want your brother to jump in. Then I want Chimdi to jump in.
Okay, no problem. So how we grew up, yes?
Yes.
We were born in Enugu, Nigeria, Udi local government, and we moved to the United States. I went to elementary there as well, like preschool, Chimdi also elementary school in Nigeria for a bit, and we moved here 2001, and we moved to the southern part of the Bronx, which we, heavily influenced by the Hispanics, Puerto Ricans, Dominicans. We lived amongst them for like 2 years. After that, boom, my parents hustled. The Nigerian energy, they're just like, we have to get this, we have to move, we have to top, we have to be the top today. Boom, moved to up north, uptown, the Bronx, more suburby a bit. And we stayed there for like the next, I'd say like 10 or so more years. And then now we're out in California. So majority of our lives was spent in the United States. However, we did like frequent going to Nigeria also yearly. But yeah, so that's a little bit of our upbringing. Our mother is a singer. She sang in the church. That may have also influenced our interest in music as well.
Okay.
But it's a little bit of that.
All right. So how did it feel like, Chimedy, how did it feel like moving from one place to the next? And then I want to know the relation with Wonka, how you guys met him. So I could have him answer a question after.
Moving one place to the next. It was like, you mean come from from Nigeria to New York to LA?
Yeah, either one that you want to choose.
Yeah, coming from New York to here it was kind of like a roller coaster, but because we're from New York, we don't really. It's like LA and New York are very similar in how things are kind of like a lot of things going on. So like, it was something that we were kind of used to because we were in the entertainment space in New York as well. Like we were, going. We used to DJ before we got into production, into recording. So in New York, like we were kind of like we were doing events, we are doing music festivals, so we're kind of moving around. Like we were based in the Bronx, but we actually was in Brooklyn, Queens, whatever we needed to do things. So we got that experience there. So coming to LA, it was kind of like we're just transferring skills. We already used, because most people come here, they're from small towns, like Indiana, stuff like that. But like we're not really like, so it's like two hot cities. So it wasn't that crazy of a transition. But for the most part, coming from Nigeria to America, though, that one was like, it was a culture shock because, they didn't understand like my accent, kind of like coming here and like having to kind of adapt. And you see people that look like you and they kind of treat you as if you're an alien because you talk different, So like, that was the learning curve that, we had to face, and being able to proudly embrace being African amongst that kind of, situation, because it wasn't always cool to be African. So like, that was interesting. That was a weird navigation for me. But obviously, like that's also what fuels our music, because there's those experiences that those influences we got from having to like mix with different people in New York. Like New York is like a huge melting pot.
It is.
So
it
like
really is.
All those cultures, you can hear it in our music. Like we have
Yeah.
so much other songs that are gonna be coming out. There's like has like some salsa influence, some like Nigerian high life, like and this is all the stuff that we were just hearing growing up, So yeah.
I'm just gonna interject this. I think the diversity is great. When I first came here from Trinidad, I met Kenyans, right? So that influence with Kenyans was interesting. But the Kenyans would tell me that they don't understand my accent and always ask me to say something over and over. And the Americans was like, you have a great accent. It sounds British. Don't lose your accent. So to me, I was like, why is my Kenyan friends not understanding me? And our language, it was like both of us had different languages. You know what I mean? So it was really interesting. Yeah.
And meeting Willy, we met him. Well, I've known Willy since college, but I knew him more from a distance, like from his mixtapes and stuff like that. Like his name superseded him. So like we connected like once or twice at events. But like the relationship didn't really start until we dropped Moonside. And I didn't even know he was following us. Like that's the thing. And he dropped Moonside, and then he was like, yo, Moonside's fire, this and that, let's work, let's connect. And we were just talking. And then I don't think he even knew we were moving to LA, because he was living in LA way before us. So we ended up just moving to LA just like on the whim. It's like, packed our bags, just left, right, randomly. And that's when he reached out to us and said, yo, let's do a track, let's work on something. And a track called No Regrets. So it was just like something that kind of took its time to come together, but it all started with music, So yeah.
And how was that? I believe in destiny, and things happen for a reason, and everything happens in its own time when that time is ready. No matter how much you push that particular thing, it'll happen when it happens,
Right.
So Willy, give me the transition and how you met them and so forth.
Well, basically what they said, well, Chimdi said, he said they heard my names because I was doing a lot of college gigs
Yeah.
when I was in upstate New York. So I went to Syracuse University. So
Mhm.
a lot of the other colleges around Syracuse, like Binghamton, SUNY, Oswego, Albany, Cornell, just all those. I've been around those universities. So I was doing like events and just DJing for their either their Caribbean parties, because I was part of the CSA at my school. So that gave me a lot of connections, and it gave me a lot of like, sort of ways how to like. I was also creating events for the CSA at my university. So I was coordinator. So I was bringing the artists to my school. So with that, just being a part of them, just DJing, people was hearing my name based on my mixtapes or me DJing parties. So I think based on my mixtapes and the parties, I know they heard my name, in the grapevines. But I know one of my friends, he knew Chimdi. I think for some reason it was through either Instagram or Facebook, something like that we sort of like connected.
Yeah.
But then I came to LA and I randomly saw their music video, Moonside.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, this is fire. Like, this is fire. Like, I was just there like, yes,
That's
this
how
is what
I felt.
yeah, I said, this is some good music right here. And I just randomly reached out. I'm like, yo, I just wanted to connect and tell them, like, just give them, just feedback on the music and just give them my energy.
Yeah.
And it was like back and forth, and then I realized they moved out here, which was random, So I'm like, okay, let's connect. We're both from the Bronx. We're both immigrants. We're Caribbean and Afro. We have that some type of thing that we could connect and we can relate to each other, because also we're from the Bronx, and we went to college in upstate New York. We had some type of similarities.
Yeah. What are the chances? You know what I mean?
It's hard to find that, especially especially when you come to LA, because there's not, the environment out here is pretty is interesting, when you start to live here. It's interesting.
Explain that interesting, because everybody, like a chain thing, just started up. After you finish explaining, then explain that.
Well, there's the people who live here, what they call them, I'm trying to get the name of the original people. Yeah, the natives who live here. Okay. They're cool. I mean, I have no problem with the original, California, LA people who was out here. But it's also the transplants that's come out here that has their, they bring their different ways. And then there's, I don't know, it's also the music business of, Hollywood. It's just I don't know, it's just,
once you say Hollywood, you know how hard it is, because I was about to say, in one of my questions that I'm gonna ask is like, I know Afrobeats has taken off, right?
Yes.
But in the Caribbean community, which includes soca, of course, it's like everybody's saying it's so hard to get by. It's so hard to get your music played, or Hot 97 over here, or Power 105 and stuff. And here you are. How long have you been singing now? 3 years, 5 years, 6 years? Like really taken off, you think?
3 years.
Right. So I think I mentioned to you, Willie, it's like in the 3 years that you've done your work, is like your work is so rich. You know what I mean? It's like the people that you work with and so forth, it's hard to find that in the soca industry.
Yeah,
unless someone has a level up. Let's say like Nyla, hypothetical, not to say that just because her dad is the godfather and stuff like that.
Correct.
But I'm just saying, it's like sometimes it's very difficult for people to break into the music industry.
Very true. It's very true. But yeah, it's just the Hollywood stuff, and it's just that the politics you gotta deal with. Then you gotta deal with the shady people who's out there. You gotta sort of know how to maneuver. That's basically it out here.
Yeah.
That's really it. So that's the thing that I had to learn. But you learn that from New York. I started to realize that helped me a lot in order to.
Yeah. Living here shapes you. America in itself, I say it shapes you to what you are, because when I came over here, I was like totally naive. My parents did everything for me. I think everybody does that, where they'll cook for you and stuff like that, coming from the Caribbean community. I guess in the African community is the same thing, basically, right? And then when you come here, it is a culture shock, because now I have to do everything for myself. I gotta work.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, I gotta pay rent. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Stuff like
Mhm.
that. Yeah.
Indeed.
So, all right. So tell me, how do you source? Like I know how you met Willie and so forth, but how do you source your producers and collaborate with other artists and so forth?
For the producer part, a lot of them come to us, to be honest. Like every project we drop and obviously we put money behind it, gets promoted. It brings a lot of feedback. People just be hitting up, especially in Nigeria. Like Nigerians love. First of all, Nigerians are hustlers.
Oh yes. Oh
Like,
yes. I know that for a fact.
no, I swear, like I feel like that's you can't put like in a race in this country. If you bring the Nigeria in Nigeria, yeah.
They're hungry, yeah.
That's
Because
the motto. It's already known.
they'll be calling you every day, writing you every day, DMing you like, boss, I get beats, boss, I get something, boss, help me, boss.
Really?
And you're like, whoa.
And like computers, you know how they have to program computers to send like marketing ads. Nigerians themselves, they're their own marketing ads. They're computer this. Like they're not, and they don't care. They don't if you're mad, they don't care. They'll just send you a happy face, like boss, please.
But I think that's Africans on the whole, right? And Caribbean people probably do it too, because you know, we could be mad and we'll still smile at you and, and curse you out. You know what I mean? I mean, for people who curse, but or tell you a couple of bad words or whatever the case may be. But yeah, you guys are hustlers, definitely.
Yeah, so that pretty much explains a bit of it. Like if you work hard in what you do, and I feel like you put out energy, especially in Nigeria, like the feedback is insane. It's insane. It's like that's why we like even promoting Nigeria, going to Nigeria. We try to visit Nigeria once every year, and we try to stay no less than a month every time we go, because it's like
it's essential. It's like essential. We must go back home.
Energy is
that's where the energy is. That's what fuels the music. Like that's the source.
Like when you go, how I like to explain it is like growing up in like elementary school in the like lunchroom, being around your friends and playing beats on the table, and everybody's having a really good time because nobody's thinking about anything else. There's no social media. There's no this. There's no that. Like that's how I like to explain it. Because when we drop music out there, the way it resonates out there, like I said, it brings the people that want to feature with us. Like for instance, Moonside brought Willie, and that's just like times 20 in Nigeria.
That's good. So. It's definitely good. Memorable moments. Give me a couple of memorable moments in the music industry. Maybe being on stage or working with a producer and so forth.
There's a bunch.
Okay, give me two. Each one of you give me two. You go first.
A memorable moment I would say was 2020 Nigeria touring. We did like a promo tour during COVID. So that was memorable for me. It's memorable for me because
during COVID.
Yeah, during COVID, yeah. Ooh. So like we had to like
still going on.
Okay. Yeah, it was like we had to like wear like it was like when COVID first kind of started. So it's like the rule, like officers were still kind of scrambling to figure out what the protocol was. So like just experiencing that while trying to like go to different radio stations and stuff like that and promote our music was very interesting. You know, it was memorable for me because it that was like my first experience of like what it's like to kind of push your music and try to get it out there. You know what I'm trying to say? Like just going to different places and having them like learn about what you have going on and like, you know, help you put it out. So that was memorable for me.
All right.
For me, I would say
give me two since you said you have many.
So one which comes to mind right now is first of all our when we first came to Los Angeles, it was like kind of like we had a very big warm welcoming. It was insane. Like it still happens now, but in the beginning it was just like a big rush of love from like different communities that we've interacted with in the past that we met. There was this time that we went to Vegas and we literally went there to witness and Afro Nation, they were partnering with like this kind of tour app, but they do like festivals out in Vegas. So we went out there. Burna Boy had performed. A bunch of artists had come there. Have you ever heard of Bankson? What's this guy's name? What's his other name?
Buju?
Buju, yeah. So
Buju.
him,
Buju?
Buju,
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
CK was there as well. A bunch
Yeah.
of industry artists were there. So one memorable moment was like we came there as guests, but literally we saw a DJ that we knew since like from like throwing festivals in New York. He was like, you guys know. He was like, my guy saw us from the back. It was like, y'all don't belong here. Go to the back.
Really?
As soon as that happened, we became artist guests for that weekend. We were getting invited to this event, that event.
Wow.
We're meeting everybody. Like, you know, we got cool with some promoters that even work in the UK. You know, now any single time we release music, they show a lot of love. Like, it's crazy. They're the ones that throw Afro Nation. So it's Afro Nation is just like a huge event. Just so you just give you a little insight. It's like 40 people go to like Portugal. One of them. It's like they do it all around. They have one in Miami soon, but they had one in Portugal where 40,000 guests arrive, and there's like I'm a piano section and there's an Afro-beat section, and you can hop between whichever. And there's a whole week. This like festival, a bunch of different even this guy, Beanie Man, performed.
He was there.
Yeah, amazing performer.
Nice.
Amazing performer. Like the guy's phenomenal. But yes, these guys are dope. They show us a lot of love. So that was a phenomenal moment for me because it was just like we worked all of this. We put a lot of energy into creating good music, good vibes. You know, like Chimdi was saying earlier, a big part of our goal in this journey is creating the voice or creating room, not the voice. The voice is already there. It's not from us, but from, you know, the people who came before us. But creating room for that voice in today's society. You know, we're inevitably fighting for people like us in the diaspora. Not just like there's LA, there's America, there's the UK, you know, it grows, but whoever is in what they would call the West, and if you're African, whatever country you're from, you know, fighting to create room for that voice. That's why I feel like that was a memorable moment because I also saw how much of a start, first of all, how far Afrobeat has come.
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing people like, for instance, CK that I said that we met at New Vegas. I remember when he wasn't CK. I don't know if you've ever heard of CK.
No, I have. It's interesting that when I was listening to your music and I saw you sign with CK, I was like, this name is familiar. And I think I was listening to a song with Ira. Well, I was listening to different interviews and Ira K was talking about him. And then I went to him and, you know, you could hear songs, but you don't know who it is.
Yeah.
So when I was like, oh, I know him. And then I saw it in your bio that you sang with CK, you know, so I know who he is. Yeah.
But it was dope because that was like a full circle moment. Imagine, like I said, became his guests, ended up being artist guests. And now we're being introduced to all these people and we're introduced to the person that we worked with years ago when he wasn't even as big as he is right now. You guys embraces us with so much love. So all these things were just like, kind of like, I feel like it's the universe, the world, God affirming this journey. You know, telling us like, just keep going, you know, whatever you think you have to do all of this to get, I will just open the door for you when you least expect, you know?
Time and place. Definitely. I like the camaraderie that's going on and, you know, everything that's just, as you said, just in place, you know?
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. And the culture. So that helps as well, as you said. Willie. Oh, you had two? That was your two or just one?
You ready for the next one?
Yeah, you ready? Or you want Willie to talk and then you come back to you.
I'm back, man.
Okay, Willie.
Well, my memorable moment was I was able to like work with Marshall, like sit down in his studio and
Oh, Marshall.
yes, like
Yeah.
it was like he was because he had a house. I think he still has a house out here. And
For the
I went.
carnival. Mhm.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
because I worked with it for the carnival and also for it was an opportunity that I had to basically be his backup DJ to go to play for him in Belize, but that fell through. But it was that moment was a special moment, but it was a moment that was how can I say that it was like bittersweet because I got you got the call, you worked with him, you practiced, and then he pulled back. But it was all for I think it was all for a good reason. Maybe, I wasn't ready yet. So I just took it like as a grain of salt, like, okay, fine, but I was able to sit next to him, talk to him. So it was like really, it showed me how far I came to be able to sit to one of the,
of course.
Yeah. So it was like an interesting moment for me. That moment was always like, it always stuck out, like, because it showed me how far I came but it also break me a little, but it also brought me back. So I start to realize like, I need to work harder. That's all.
And that's the lesson,
Yeah, that's really it. That's really
it. Did he tell you? Did he tell you that was the reason, or
he told me that I wasn't ready yet, and I knew the reason why I wasn't ready because I didn't have the resources.
Okay.
At the moment, so that's why I wasn't prepared to do. But I knew I could have did it if I had the resources.
Yeah,
that's the thing, which hurt me. Which hurt me a lot, but it was okay. I took it and just reflect upon it and just worked hard on it.
That's my thing about being ready, right? Some people would say, well, as you know, I do voiceover. So people would say, Nicole, you have to push yourself here. You got to do this. You got to go to the people and maybe go to Charlemagne and stuff. Me? Charlemagne? Like, I don't want Charlemagne to chew, wrong choice of words. I don't want him to, how he talks to people if you're not right, or if, he's very vocal. So for anyone, I want to be prepared mentally and have the resources, have the right computer, have this, have that before I go to certain people. So I've always done that, I'll be like, okay, yeah, I'll go, but let me just do this one thing that I need to do and then I'll do it. But people usually say, do what you have to do, but you don't want to falter. And then that big chance you have, you lose, Yeah. But I've learned my lesson because I've done stuff like that and the same lesson that you learned and stuff. Yeah. So, Otito, back to you.
Yeah. So another one, a memorable moment is there was a show we did for One Day Cole. Enjoy that because first of all, we had a lot of fans in the building. That was lit. Like, like a lot of people pulled up to that.
Yeah. So let me just interject this question real quick. Being that you have fans quickly, right? I mean, your rise to fame was, in my eyes, like really quick. What was the time frame of that? Like you seeing that you had fans?
The time frame, I would say so it's interesting, right? As musicians, right? Time frame, I would say 2 years.
Okay, because you were also DJs.
We were DJs, and we did a lot. We did a lot of.
We kind of built out. We built our fan base from doing things in the music entertainment space for like over like 7-8 years. Because we started off as music producers. Like that was our first interest because we're like dabbled in the choir, with our mom and stuff, and then we started producing a little bit, and then we tried to kind of build a studio, and we found out that the fastest way to make money at the time was DJing because Africans, we love to party. So like we just found out where all the parties were. I was telling them like we'll do it for the low, and that's how we started DJing. And then went to college, started DJing in college. So that was like, as we're doing these things, like our fan base was just growing. People loved how we played music, but we just always felt like we could do more.
Yeah.
We did these things together because we just always worked well together. I think it's because we're both in our family structure, like we're the middle kids and we're both boys. So we have an older sister and a younger sister, and there's two of us in the middle. So it's just kind of like was convenient. They were both guys to just like work together.
Hey, so, bro, you trying to do a concert real quick?
Yeah, that's kind of what we did. So we were always just building things like since we were young. So I guess that's what we did. So like so then it just all that just evolved into music. So some of the fans of us DJing in our production converted to
Transition.
our music. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it's still the same energy at the end of the
Yeah.
day. It's still the
Yeah.
same people. And everything we do, we try to put our energy into it. So to make sure you feel it. So
Yeah.
I think that's what really helped us kind of like get to the level we are right now, and we're still working hard to get even further because there's so much more, things on our to-do list, so much more goals to accomplish because it's never over.
Of course.
Mhm.
So continue.
But yeah, so the transition. So which question? So which question?
You're talking about One Day Cole concert.
The
So
concert.
yeah, so the One Day Cole concert was dope because there was a lot of our supporters and our fans there, and it was good to see. Like we did a lot of online promotion we released a song called Doctor around that time, and we did a massive like campaign for it, and it was good to see the results. You're on stage and you're singing a song and people are singing it back to you. It's like, oh, this is lit. Because I do work with a lot of the marketing for the two of us, and I just like seeing how strategy becomes reality. Like it's cool to see. But yeah.
Yeah. So are you a marketing major? Oh, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You sure?
Oh no, I was
want
just saying
you
I
to
had
lose your
one
thoughts.
more. I had one more thing that what was it? Especially like a memorable moment was meeting these two guys.
Yeah.
Was meeting ENJ. Like these two brothers right here, they sort of inspired me and I learned a lot just being around these guys. So that was one major one I thought.
Appreciate you. Like,
yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But
you can go ahead, Tito. That's all I want to say. That.
So you mentioned your parents. Oh, and also the concert that you mentioned, it sounded similar to Coachella. Is it's as big or even bigger? The Afro
Nation.
Afro Nation. Yeah.
It's definitely. I think Coachella's probably way bigger.
Way bigger. Okay.
Yeah, Coachella's like
How many people come?
Like hundreds of thousands. It's a lot of people.
That's a lot.
Coachella's huge. Coachella's huge. But no, it's definitely the biggest as I'm concerned, as I know of, like one of the biggest holders of Afro-beat festivals. Like like they bring like what you told I mentioned, like over 60,000 people. It's like and it's just beautiful to see that this much people in one cluster, and that's just people that we see. We don't know people that couldn't make it. Love the sound, because I don't know. Afrobeat is very special to me because I feel like it's kind of like what soca does for me. Like soca puts me in a happy place. Like I love when I go to carnival and it's like people are just like free and for once not like boxed into like what society expects you to corporate BS structure that everybody's so afraid to like be themselves and like these days. So I feel like when you go to carnival and see how people are free, it's very inspiring, and that's what Afrobeats does for me. Like the melodies and the sounds, the vibes, like it makes you just want to like just dance and
break out,
and break out. You know what I'm trying to say? And I think that's a needed energy in the music industry. Like I think that's why Afrobeats is like excelling because there was a void that had to be filled, and Nigeria just pumps out artists like it's like it's like a factory because there's no work. There's no work in Nigeria. There's no work there. So because there's no work, because of bad government, you have free time. Start making a song.
Yeah, I like how the accent comes out because you hear the American accent and then you hear the Nigerian. It's like start walking. You got to start walking. That is super dope.
Thank you.
Oh, so with your parents, right? How did your parents take it when you wanted to start singing and so forth, being that you were the youngest or the middle? Did they support you? How was that support system?
It was interesting, I say. Like, I think it took them time to get accustomed to what we wanted to do. They always knew that we were gonna be here though, because it's just how we lived our lives. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? We were always just never, I know me personally, like I was never somebody that just like settled with like just the bare minimum. I'll never fancy the idea of like working for somebody for the rest of my life. Like it didn't make sense. That was never my goal. Like, I went to college, and a bunch of my classmates were like, "Yeah, I want to work for Lockheed Martin. I had no company that I really want to work for. I want to work for myself.
Yeah.
I never had that dream.
Self-made.
So like
Yeah.
that's what I always spoke about. So like they kind of already knew that. Now they didn't know it was gonna be music, and like I always tell my mom, like, I tell her, like, music is the vehicle. Like I don't know where else is gonna take me, take us to, like, and what other opportunities is gonna create. But I knew for a fact that this is something that I was born to do, because there's nothing else I can even think about. So
Yeah.
I knew about that. So when it manifested, they couldn't stop it. It was a moving train. It kind of surprised, like,
But
literally,
let me
like,
do my thing.
because we had a basement, right? We had a garage, right? And we
Yeah.
just took over the garage, and it was just became our space. And every couple months, my mom would come down and she'll see a new screen, then speakers, then
Oh
and
wow.
she had to sit down. She brought my brother. She said, where you getting the money for all the
How
stuff
you
you're buying?
making it?
We're like, Mom, we DJing, you making money from this, making money. And she just saw everything just come together. And she's like, these guys are serious.
Yeah.
And we flew to Nigeria to shoot a music video. It just, the journey, they just kept seeing like how much we want
Progress.
this. And they're like, wow, they had no choice. They kind of just, I don't know. They just
because my mother used to throw away our headphones.
Why?
She just did it. Why? Focus on school. Why are you playing games?
music, yeah.
There's no work for music.
That's what I wanted to say, because every culture is known for like how they raise their kids or how they speak and so forth. And I know I had a friend who's Nigerian, and she used to study because she said her parents is like, you have to be a doctor, you have to be a lawyer, you have to, and Trinidadians do the same thing. They tend to, my dad was like books, but I like music. I like entertainment was my thing. I knew from a young age that's what I wanted to do. It's just that I end up doing something different, but I'm still in the industry, and I like that. I started promoting at one time. I stopped that. I liked music. I just didn't become a DJ, but
I think I forgot what I was gonna say. With our parents, was more so like it was like a contract kind of thing.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna get to that
because we're both engineers. We're both engineers, right?
Okay.
But we didn't do it. Like, we graduated, got the degree. But
oh my gosh.
So it was more like, my parents like, as long as you secure yourself a college degree, you guys are grown men. You guys can decide where you want to take your life. Like, if you guys were able to get through that point, and with that kind of focus, they weren't worried about what other choices we made. It's not like, we dropped out in the 10th grade and it was like, we're trying to be rappers. It's just like, no.
What are you gonna do with your life?
So and with that, like, it really helped us out because we're very business minded. Like, we have a lot of multifaceted skills sets, and that's what helps us in our business, helps us in our creation of music, helps us in how we just how we go about our artistry in general, and that's also what I would say helped us to get to a point where we are now. Like, we always understood product, because I feel like music is a product. Music is a product.
It is.
And you have to know how to market the product. You have to know how to get people interested, excited about the product. You have to know how to position the product to get people's interest and get their buy-in. So those are things that, like, school helped us learn indirectly.
Exactly. So your parents were right. Yeah.
Indirectly, yeah. But we didn't have to go and get a desk job. That was what I was not going to do.
Yeah.
I just have to use the knowledge and create my own desk or create my own path. You know what I'm trying to say? I can do that because I'm seeing people that I'm like, people have done it, and I'm not the first person. So it's like, whatever I gotta get through to figure it out. I'm willing to do that.
Yeah.
And once they saw that we were serious from the investment we had towards it, and they started hearing our songs and then seeing the reaction and seeing our fan base grow, like, okay, these guys are okay. They actually invest now.
Yeah, especially when we left the house. Like, when we left the house, it kind of like made a statement that, like, okay, it's not what we do. We're gonna take care of ourselves at the end of the day. Like, our life is in our life is in our hands. We can go out into this world and figure it out. Like, but I feel like, to be honest, if we had stayed under the roof, it probably wouldn't have been good though. You know
It
what I
wouldn't
mean?
have happened, yeah.
Wouldn't have
Because
happened.
we were the classic basement artists. Mama's
Mm.
basement, you know how there's the common story. I started in my mom's basement.
Oh
Yep,
yeah. Oh
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying.
The thing
But
is
it's
that,
like
like,
after a while, mom's paying the bills. It's like mom's like, what's
yeah,
going on?
You gotta
Like,
do
you got to
something.
do something with your life. So it's like we was like, all right, we're gonna leave and figure it out.
Yeah.
funny enough though,
It's
like,
been great.
even though we became artists at our later parts of our in the entertainment industry, so
Yeah.
prior we were focused on getting money. So because of that, our parents didn't get as much. So when we were DJing, we did a lot of private events. Like we did a lot of events with like weddings, colleges. There was something called a national
Baby showers.
baby showers. But like we worked with organizations, charity events,
Oh,
hospitals.
nice.
You
Okay.
understand what I'm trying to say? So we were getting to the bag. Like that was our
But yeah, wherever the bag was, we made sure we
so
got to
our
it.
parents didn't care. Yeah. So at that point, before music, they
Yeah.
didn't care. They were just like, oh,
And and let's be
and-
honest, they kind of put a little bit of pressure on that too, because they were like, you better be making money. They'll hold your ear, like, you better be making
yeah,
money.
exactly.
Every
So
time
you know,
every time we get a gig, they're like, how much are they paying you? Look at paying you enough money. You gotta think about that before you build them. You're like, damn, we can't charge too small because
and funny,
you're like, you're gonna, because sometimes they'll like when we didn't have a car, they'll let us take their SUV, load up
Yeah.
the equipment and
yeah,
go. So they're like, listen, if you're taking my car, you better be making money.
Exactly.
And they, not that they wouldn't even take the money from us.
Uh-huh.
We just wanted to make sure that
but
what
we'll
we're
have to put
now
that to the,
for is worth it.
But
we'll have to put,
I would say as a parent, like when you said, like I have a boy and a girl. So when you said that, your mom was crushed or you're engineering and then you go into something else, I was
Yeah.
crushed because I'm like, because with my kids, I'm like, okay, everybody hustles, right? We have this
Yeah.
hustle mentality. I've done so many things. I've done 2 jobs. First time I came here, I did McDonald's. I went from security. I went, I did school. I did so many different things. I was a home health aide, nurse's assistant. I did
Wow.
and
You
then
name it.
the one that I liked was being a residential counselor, because then you learn people's mentality and people in a hospital, schizophrenia, all that stuff, But entertainment was my thing. I took a year off to promote.
Right.
And then when that didn't work, there's just a summarized background. But with my kids now, I always tell them if they're going to do something, it's like, how much money is that going to make anything? Does it make sense? You're going to use the car. You better put gas. You got to do this. You got to do that, because you want to make sure they understand what living is about, what life is about. And it's not that easy, So.
no, 100%, 100%. And I feel like even at that time, so like the reason I mentioned that is because I think that's the reason why they didn't really notice it. Like we were doing a lot. Like when we were in New York, like we were doing and we were trying to beat the best in all of it. So that's being engineers. We was doing our thing, going to conferences and trying to make so on. And then also in the entertainment industry, we had festivals that we threw 3 years in a row while doing business, DJ, that. And all of these things was like bringing attention to us and our family. So because of that, my parents, African parents, they're very proud people. So
of course,
when everybody outside is praising them, they don't care. They're just like, oh, your kids, they were on the news. Your kids, they're doing this. Your kids, oh my God. So they're just like, yes, these are my kids. They're
they were so proud. Yeah.
It was when we started doing music that things had to change a little bit, but it's because it's a little bit more passion. But the funny thing is, the reason why we even went into music was because, for me specifically, in the DJing industry, I had noticed that music was taking a turn where if you wanted to sustain it long enough and you weren't just doing private events, which don't come as often, right? If you wanted to sustain it, you'd have to kind of start playing music that you don't enjoy and start playing music people
of
top
course
music, right? And at the moment, the top chart of music, it wasn't my vibration. So I'm like, I'm not gonna sacrifice that and just become like an iPod. I don't want to be an iPod.
Yeah.
So
same here. My attraction to DJ at the time was my ability to play what I want to play, to play my vibe.
But
That's
I can't do that.
put a pin on that. When you're a DJ, right, Willie? When you're a DJ, you have to play for your audience.
Yeah.
So when we find as a guest or a patron or whatever you want to call it, if I'm in the crowd and the DJ is playing for himself and the crowd is not moving, it doesn't work.
No, 100%. And that's the reason why I said we took private events.
Okay.
If you're booking us, you're booking us because you like our sound.
So they can't give you a list.
And our sound began before we started making music.
Okay.
The music we make now is just a replication of what we like to play.
Got you. Okay.
Of who we are, the different influences. So when we play, when I mentioned Shaggy, I played Shaggy when I was DJing a lot.
Yeah.
It's gonna be my influence.
If
we're talking about Alkaline, these different artists.
And like you asked about, sorry to cut you off. Like you asked about if we get a list. Yeah, of course. Like if it's like a wedding and they have like a playlist.
The private, exactly.
But a lot of the couples do give us creative room to suggest songs that we feel.
Okay.
You know
so as a
that's
DJ, you do get all right.
Yeah, you know, it's just
what I was talking about was specifically like long term. That's why I said long term sustainability, because private events come as often.
Okay.
You know, you probably do more promoting in order to paying to promote to be able to get those private events. It won't match up. So for long term, you have to work with venues, all right, clubs and all of these things. And that that's what you got to do. If they're not dancing, it's it, you know? So I'm like, okay, we're producers as well. And we've had events. We get hired privately because people like the way we play. So that means there are people that like our world.
Yeah, your mixes and everything.
Yeah, so there's already a fan base for this vibration. That's how I. So we just started producing, and then lo and behold, everybody that's in that world just comes right to us. You know, now it gives us creative room, because I'm like, I'm not gonna sacrifice that, like because that's the whole reason for doing these type of ventures. I feel as an entrepreneur, to create your own rules. You break out of a society that has rules to create kind of your own, so that you can be able to create a world around that, and you know, give like space, voice. You're trying to, you know, like, because you matter as well. But if you start, I feel, over boxing it, compromising, you know, it takes away, and I feel like it disconnects you from the people. People will start noticing that you've fallen within the mix rather than speaking for them. I feel like as MCs, as producers, MCs, producers, and whether you're on stage, whatever it is that you're doing, and you're bringing yourself out there, we're responsible for a group of people. And the more you water that down, you make them upset. They're sad. They're like, you were supposed to be speaking for me, and now
you're not being your authentic self. That makes sense.
I 100% like agree with that, and I think that's what drew me as well to recording and just producing music. So I was like, we can do this already. We dropped our first song, people loved it. It was like, this is a thing. Like I swear to you, if we dropped our first song and people were just like, boo, I probably would have said, this is not for me. You know what I'm trying to say? But it was literally the response we got.
Yeah.
It was like, for me, it don't take much people. If one person says this is a hit, this is fire, that's all I need.
You feel it. Like, it's not like
and it's not just a passive, like, oh yeah, it's a nice song. No. They'll text you paragraphs.
Wow.
Like, your song changed my life. I'm like,
me, little old
me changed your life? Like, what? Are you serious? So that's like that gratification is beautiful, and it's like that's what keeps us going. You know, every single person that we touch, and that's what makes us very intentional in what we say in our music and where we draw our inspiration when we create the songs. You know what I'm trying to say? Because we want to make sure that we're connecting with our audience in a special way. You know,
yeah, that's good. So in the life of, you know, both of you and stuff, ENJ, I have to change this here. In your life, just give us a synopsis, right? Short paragraph, if you can, of what it's like from the time you get up to, let's say, any day, from the time you get up to when you have to either go in the studio or a productive day.
Okay.
You want to start?
Oh, so we wake up at different times. Like I wake up a lot earlier. I'm not much of a sleeper. So I wake up like maybe around 5 in the morning, go for a jog, maybe like just some stretches, loosen up my body. And then come back, smoothie, plan out my day, write out what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to accomplish, whether it's doing stuff for the business or creating. Sometimes even if we're in the mood to create, whether or not we're in the mood to create, we'll just put ourselves in the studio until something comes. Just to always be around it. It doesn't always work every time.
Okay.
The days it doesn't work out, we do some because for those who don't know, we're super independents, like artists. So like there's administrative work you have to do for yourself, and then there's like the creation of the actual work, the actual art, the product. So we're constantly wearing different hats. So depending on like the vibe of the day, like say the vibe is I'm feeling creative today, I want to go and create something, then straight to the studio, lay down some lyrics, or create some melodies. But if it's like I'm not really feeling it today, then we go and send some emails out to our partners and do the boring work office stuff. You know what I'm trying to say? But every day is like continuously do the small baby steps to keep getting to our goal. The goal is to really build a creative hub. We also own a company called ItsENJ Music Worldwide. So that's like our production house where we have producers under us, we have songwriters under us, and we have promoters as well, all based in Nigeria. I'm trying to say, and that's kind of something that we're trying to continue expanding. So that's also the how we sustain ourselves.
What's the name of it you said? Could you repeat it?
ItsENJ Music Worldwide.
I'm sorry?
ItsENJ Music Worldwide.
Okay, all right.
So just like, because our vibe is the ENJ is just enjoyment, to be honest. That's essentially why we do what we do, why we create the music we create, to give people joy that we feel. But yeah, so that's essentially our day from my viewpoint.
Your point of view. Okay.
From my viewpoint, it's a little the same, right? But I'm just gonna add a little. It's dancing in the middle of the whole. So I wake up in the morning, right? I realize, I'm alive. Like, I thank God. So I get on the knees and I thank God. I'm like, yo, good looks for bringing me another day, right? Get back up, right? Boom. Then I'm like, all right, I need to work out. I ate some crazy last night. So I'll go for a run. Maybe after he's already coming back from his run, I'm on my way out. I'm going for the sun. You can't forget the headphones when you're going to the run.
Yeah, you need that.
And then I get bored. I'm like, these towels are cool. So I remember that that Michael Jackson music video, the Chris Brown one where the towels light up and they dance on it.
I think so.
Like, for people, I think that's the name of the song. So I see lighting up and I start dancing on them. Instead of running, I start dancing on it. So I'm telling you, it's lit.
I would like to see that move.
Everybody's watching me do this, and I don't care. I'm just like, I'm good. That's how I work out. So boom, I come back, right, from working out, and then I'm sweaty, so I'm like, I need to take a shower so I can feel good for the rest of the day. So I'll go upstairs, boom, I bring the speaker to the bathroom, more dancing, turn the water on. Now I'm dancing in there. Then I come out, and I'm like, I gotta do some stuff for the day. Write the stuff that I need to do on a board. We have a little whiteboard there that we just write down.
Okay.
That inspiration, like you said, if we're inspired, we make music. Either way, in the studio, we're just gonna be there, just like thinking. We also go through our DMs, so our DMs is full of a bunch of people always trying to hit us up for either beats or something. So it's just like, all right, we'll send us new beats today. Then we're listening to it, getting some inspiration. We'll record it on our phones and then eventually down. And then, do other stuff. Speak to our family. We have family in New York. Call my sisters, my parents, say how to see
that. Definitely keep in touch with family.
Keep in touch.
That's good.
Watch some of my favorite shows on Netflix. Because life is not all about ads. I can't come and kill myself. Sometimes I'll put on some nice shows, that I can relax, watch, and chill. Find some, And then I try not to eat after 8. You know, I feel like most of the time, but I try, you know, that's all that.
Yeah, that's the, you can try. I try during the day, and when I come home, I'm like, you just, you know, you end up getting the munchies. Like
Yes.
some things I don't buy because I don't want it in the house. I know, like Twizzlers, forget it.
That is the cheat code. That's what I'm learning.
Just don't buy it.
You gotta get food that if you eat, it's not gonna hurt you so much. So worst case, I get a cucumber. I'm like, you know what? I want to eat, so I'm gonna just eat this cucumber. It's not gonna.
I do that. I do the same thing. Like I have a bunch of fruits right in front of me. As soon as I walk in the door, it's right there. So I like the bananas. You know, I see everything there. But I feel like my body is calling out for Twizzlers like Friday. And I was like, I'm gonna get it. I just want it. So I'm gonna get it. So I'm like, I don't always do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad to treat yourself from time to time, you know?
Yeah.
True.
Moderation. Everything in moderation.
Exactly. So Willie, you.
For me, well, I work in corporate America, so during the week. So I wake up, take my shower, I do my blessings, give my blessings to God. Oh, thank you for another day. Thank you, the big man up above. Like,
important.
Give me one more. You give me one more. Just give me one more. And then I, get along with my day, take my shower, eat a banana, make a cup of coffee, then head to work, drive to work. It takes me about 45 minutes to 30 minutes because I drive all the way to Century City. So then I'm doing my IT stuff. But when I'm doing my IT stuff, I also have time where I could just sort of do music too. So I'm like listening to music, reaching out to the guys here or people who have to work mixtapes. So I'm thinking about ideas about mixtapes and just things that I want to do to like keep myself relevant right now,
Yeah.
And keep up to the times because, I don't want to fall back because, the time is moving. Music is changing. Yeah, and there's always new music and there's always new artists, new things. So I'm always listening for the next new thing because I know I want to be up to date, I want to know what's going on, It could be from Afro-beats, it could be from soca, it could be from dancehall. Yeah. My mood shifts to different genres sometimes when I just be listening to music all the time. Could be in my car, in the office when I'm in my office, I'm playing music, I'm just searching. Like even though I'm working, I'm doing that also.
Yeah.
So, and I'm also studying also. I'm also studying cybersecurity. So I'm doing that also. So I'm just trying to keep myself, active, just keep learning because that's all I can do, just keep learning. But that's usually my day. But then if I'm working from home, I have my Peloton. So I just cycle inside here, eat breakfast, reach out to my mom, talk to her, once in a while, like here and there. And that's really it. I mean, I just keep myself up to date because that's all I could do, man. Just keep up to date to this world. Because if you're not up to date to what in this time, you could just lose track and you're not gonna be. And I don't want to lose track of the path where I'm going. So I want to always be up to date to everything. Music for sure. Because I think music is very important to me. From a kid, I felt like that was so important for me. I can't go without it.
And it goes hand in hand too. Like what you do, in the entertainment industry, you have to stay current. You have to stay current with music, artists, but there's so much. It's I don't want to use the word oversaturated, but it's saturated. There's so much to know, so much to learn, and sometimes you have to focus on one and then like how I'm on Afro-beats now, like going into your music, I went from one person to the next, and it's like, it's funny how the cycle is, how you meet up, like how I said, one of the artists that you work with, that another artist had worked with and so forth, and you just go around the chain, you know what I mean? So your breakout song, I see your breakout single, Pray For It.
Yes. How
did you come up with that concept?
We began that record, I started the beat when I was in Binghamton, when I was still in college. And, I don't know why, but I was in a state where I just wanted peace. So that's where those melodies and stuff, a lot of those melodies came from. So when I was creating it, I don't know. It was just a vibe. It was weird. Afrobeat was still new in that time. It was still boiling. Like not much people were,
In
especially
America.
in America, were aware of it. But I was a DJ, so I was used to playing these songs. But it was just an influence that came to me. I can't really explain where it came from.
Yeah.
And boom, after that, then there's an artist that we were working with over there from, what's the name of it? Pakistan, I believe. A child star. He was also pretty big in Pakistan.
From Pakistan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was working with out there. I linked with him, showed him the beat, and then he got on the beat and he did an amazing job, very chill. Then it got repolished when it got sent back to our studio in New York where my brother was. Then they further wrote the song. And what happened after that? Then I had the track again. The track took about 3 years, can you believe? Before, it took 3 years to create.
It kept getting bounced around.
Bounced back. It just up and down, We even showed it. We had, right when we had the track, right? After we had, before we had showed it to CK, we had showed the song to Olamide. I don't know if you ever heard of him. But
yeah, I've heard, yeah.
Yeah, so he's like a veteran in this industry. We had showed it to him when we met him backstage at NEA Awards in Times Square, New York.
Yeah.
Loved the track. Loved the track to the point where he was like, told us that we're gonna work eventually. And we just kept ever since then we've been bumping into him. We even opened for him at some point back in the day.
Yeah.
But,
I saw the write-up, so I listened to everything.
Yeah. So we showed it to him then. He loved the track, but he didn't get on the track. He wrote us because of that track on Instagram and asked us to create a beat, an Ed Sheeran type of a beat, which then was kind of interesting when later he came out with a feature with Ed Sheeran for Fireboy. It was very cool when I saw that. I was like, oh, like this is so cool. But we didn't have it for him then. And in that time, which sometimes I wish, like, I wonder if I had given him that, where that would have happened.
It would have gone.
But that was a song he was looking for when he acted, because that was the kind of vibe it was giving. That's why he knew that we would have a track with that Ed Sheeran would like, something that could be on that kind of vibe.
Oh, so they knew.
Wow.
Yeah. So he felt that. He'd send that to us. So we told him no, because we were still new in the industry. So we were worried about getting thieved. Imagine just steals it, and now it's just, we don't know. Like we were just a little worried.
Copywriting and all that stuff.
Copywriting, but the song still had a destiny. So that song still needed to go through whatever channel needed to go to break us into the industry. I was in school, and I'm always listening and looking for new artists, especially then when I was DJing. So I was Apple Music playlist, and I heard of CK. He was charting on one of the playlists there. I played one of his songs, and I was like, this guy is nice. And he wasn't even big yet. Like, he was still coming up in Nigeria. Like, he was. So I found him on Instagram. I was like, bro, I love your music. We connected on the fact that he's classically trained. His father's also classically trained, like pianist and all of that stuff. So what got us communicating. And then boom, he's like, oh, I'm telling him, oh, like, I'm Igbo. We're from the same tribe and all that stuff. And then he's like, oh, I have some beats. I tell him I have some beats that I think you work nice on. I sent him some. And the first few, he roasted them. He's a very harsh critic. I love it.
Oh, he is.
This guy does not, first of all, he's very meticulous and very, like, serious about music. Like, not play, like, classically trained, evidently.
Yeah, of course. So, yeah.
So he didn't like the first few. Then the last one I sent him, Pray For It, he was like, this is fire. In 2 hours, he sent back a track.
Wow.
2 hours.
So when you say for audience who wouldn't understand what sending back a track means, did he write his own thing? He
wrote, recorded, and sent everything. The stems. He sent the song finished. Wow. I was just like,
wow,
guys, not playing.
You know what you like when you hear it or see it,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the beautiful thing about it is that hunger then, he was just, that's why I feel like, through most of this journey, what I've learned is like energy is very important, and where you put your energy in is what you get.
That's true.
He had a lot. That hunger spoke volumes to where he is now. You get like that ability to just boom, boom, boom. Like it's not even, he's not playing at this point, So when he did that, and I was even, I was honored because at that point, that was when we were throwing festivals, we were DJing, we were doing our thing as well.
Yeah.
So like, real recognize real.
That's
true. Matched up his hustle. We said, boom, created magic. It created a beautiful song that lives in everybody's hearts. I'm telling you, that song is forever consistently just good. Like, this is our charts for that song. It just went. It's just cool.
It's interesting when you mentioned that you went to the bathroom, you took the speaker in the bathroom and you were playing. I like music so much, right? I'm in love with music. I literally got a light bulb that plays music.
I was those in Airbnb.
And I was listening. Yeah, I was listening to the track and stuff. I came out and I left the door open and stuff, and I was listening to it because the sound system on that light bulb is so cool. Because I was like, how am I can't get a speaker or nothing to go in my bathroom. Like I have to have, literally thing. And a friend was playing. I was like, how come you have music? And they told me, got it instantly. I'm like, that's the best thing ever, because I have different sound systems in my rooms. So whichever one I go to, Siri, whoever, and listen to music. So when you said that, I was like, he needs a light bulb.
No, just they're coming to my house. Like I might have a PA system. Like you're gonna see speakers everywhere. You open the fridge, it's a boombox.
That's serious.
You're always ready to get it, like. Oh, man.
When you have a passion for something, especially music, and you see people, you do anything to get. Even at my job sometimes, like Willie, how you say, you're multitasking. Let me tell you something. This phone is like, I don't want to say on God, but it's like it's something else.
Yeah.
You could do so from banking to, when I say good morning, I say good morning every morning to people on Facebook, right? So I put up my good morning status and stuff. And then I jump to Instagram and I jump to this and I jump to a fan page and it's amazing. Just amazing.
Technology.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, it totally is. So your new track that you have on God, right? Well, we're jumping to that. Is it possible for you guys to do an acapella? I usually ask my artists to do an acapella. Would you like to? Are you able to?
Sure, but I hope it'll come in on time. Like there won't be any lag.
I know. You could do a song maybe where you start, he sings after, something like that. I don't know if that will work.
On God, I feel make me too short for your boy. And nobody
come stop.
I come from the streets pure hunger. For them we no grief fire turn on God.
That we pray for to stand, Holy Father.
Make I never lose my substance. Favor shower me in abundance. For them we no grief fire thunder.
On God, that we pray for to stand, Holy Father. Make I never lose my substance. Favor shower me in abundance. For them we no grief fire thunder.
On God, see them where they sit down for my board.
That's why I go hard, I give it thought on God. DJ Willy Wonka on the ones. Who's the festival to give?
Never fuck about them all, oh God.
I go fire them with just a word. Yeah, my pen is mighty and it's striking like a sword, oh God. And they get my thing from up above. For the family, I go to war just because.
God, I feel make me too short for your boy. And nobody
can't stop. I come from the street, pure hunger. For them, we don't fire thunder.
God, I feel pray, I feel to stand, Holy Father. Make I
never lose my substance. Favor shower me in abundance. For them, we no grief fire thunder.
People where they give me a leave me alone. No matter what my she I want. Ain't nobody
Everybody tapping us is gone.
Oh God, you know be by force, yo. I don't
Boss,
boss.
no be my that in Thomas.
To come out, to spoiling my bag, you got to comport, yo. On God, yo, you've been one. If you don't get, I take you to court. I take on
my face up for front.
Running my race, and
I'm the champion.
On God, I feel make me too sure for your boy.
Bravo!
Thank
And that will take us into intermission. We'll be right back.
See them when they sing out for my body. That's why I go hard, I give it all what I thought on God. ItsENJ Willy Wonka on the ones. Sister fist the fact and give a fuck about them all, oh God. I go fire them with just a word. Then my pen is mighty and it's striking like a sword, oh God. And they get my thing from up above. For the family, I go to war just because. Oh God, I feel make me too sharp for your boy. And nobody feet come stop, I come from the streets, pure hunger. For them we no be fire, ton God. I feel pray, I feel to stand on the fire. Make I never lose my substance. Favor shower me, not on dance.
To our regular scheduled program. Table Talk.
I had so much fun with his ENJ. We had over 2 hours of conversation. Stay tuned for part 2 of its ENJ with DJ Willy Wonka and myself, Nikki G the Voice, as we get a little personal with the man with my oh so famous word game and in the life of ENJ. Make sure to check out their new song, On God, streaming on all platforms. Click that bell on YouTube, like and subscribe to Table Talk Show with Nikki G the Voice. Thank you.
I just want to flex. Life with no regrets. I just want to